What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video with your host, as always, K-Mag Time. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and being a fan of the channel. Thank you guys for sticking around and hanging out with me. But before we get to today's video, I want to mention this one thing real quick, that we're still going on with the giveaway from last week's video. I still have about a week left till the books get in, so I figured I'd give you guys another chance to enter, or if you haven't entered already, to enter for this giveaway. Now, we're giving away a Venture Bros hardcover art book, and it's very cool. It's got all the art from all the seasons and stuff like that. It's got details and stuff like that. Very, very cool stuff there. So you guys want to be entered into that giveaway. It's very simple. All you have to do is A, like this video, B, be subscribed, and C, comment down below. And you guys can enter as many times as you'd like with comments. And you can get bonus entries by following me on Twitter, Instagram, and all other social medias, Discord. All links to all that will be in the description. Like I said, very easy to enter. Picking a winner sometime early next week. Got about a week or so left on that. But with that out of the way, guys, let's jump right into the Season 7, Episode 4 Easter eggs for Venture Bros. Now, this has been a very great season so far. I'm enjoying it. The plot lines are amazing. And there's a lot of little jokes hidden in this episode as well that you may have missed. So, starting out here, just going to run through these. Now, first off, the jacket that Hank has been wearing this entire season, actually, it started back in Season 6, and they kind of alluded to what it was back then. They actually had a thing about it. But in case you missed that, he's wearing his jacket, this white jacket, is actually a Steve McQueen's jacket, like a motorcycle racer from the 70s, and it's really badass. It actually goes back to like Season 6, where Brock tells him about Steve McQueen, and he starts wearing a jacket after. But I thought I would mention that real quick. Next up here we see this J-Watch, which is clearly a play off of Apple's iWatch. This is in the Monarch's fantasy flashback that he's having early in the episode. But it's not the only time we see an Apple reference in this episode. Later at the Van Tech board meeting, we see the pirate dressed in a black turtleneck. It's exactly the kind of turtleneck that Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, used to wear. So they're making a lot of Apple references here. It's kind of a funny thing you may not have picked up on. Obviously, we know that the Brown Widow is a knockoff of Spider-Man, but what we may not have picked up on is when he enters his college classroom, his teacher calls him Bjorn Borg. And you may not have got that reference, but it's actually really funny. It's a real-life tennis star from the 70s who had the exact type of haircut that he had. It's actually a really sick burn. Also, another joke you may not have picked up about that teacher is the teacher says his name is Professor Tompkins. And this is actually a title character in the series of popular science books by physicist George Gamow. And the books were structured around a series of dreams, which Mr. Tompkins enters in alternate worlds, where physical constants have radically different values from those they have in the real world. This may actually be a subtle clue to him actually being a villain in future episodes, much like we saw with other teachers like Think Tank in previous seasons. So it's easy to keep an eye on Professor Tompkins. He may come back, he may not. It may be a throwaway joke, but we'll have to wait and see. But either way, it's pretty cool, and then they picked up on that. I had to Google what Mr. Tompkins and science, and it came up like that. You may have missed that. It may have glossed right over your head. Next up, we actually see Think Tank in this episode. You may not have remembered him from previous seasons. He was a supervillain, and I believe he got those injuries he's in the hospital for in Season 6. He's actually in the hospital bed next to Rusty. It's also pretty funny. You also see Doc Hammer singing to him later in the episode.
I just feel so kind of alone now that what is that?
I'm feeling kind of.
Now, the song he's singing isn't directly taken from anything. It's kind of a parody, but it is along to the melody of the George Michael song called Father Figure. So that's actually pretty funny. It's got a very similar melody. They just kind of replaced a lot of the words and stole the melody. And I guess they did kind of like a parody of that song. And Father Figure is a pretty popular song by George Michael, and it's a pretty on-the-nose joke for this episode. But I really enjoyed that. It actually took me a while to figure out what the hell song they were trying to parody. Thank you to all the Redditors who helped me figure that out. But anyway, moving on. In the later parts of the episode, we see that Hank has this bouquet of flowers he brought for Serena. But if you take a closer look at freeze frame, there's actually a monarch in that bouquet. Now, whether or not this is a hearing device or if it's just actually a butterfly, they're kind of making a poke there. I believe it's just a butterfly that just kind of flew into them, and they're just kind of making that joke here. But it could be a monarch listening device. We're not too sure. We'll have to wait and see. Also, while Dean goes to see his professor, there's a lot of posters on the wall, a lot of things on the wall you may not have picked up on here. There's one poster that says "Make whales, not bombs." This could be a reference to Wide Whale. Also in the background on the shelf, there's a butterfly collection. It could be some kind of monarch connection there, maybe a Blue Morpho connection. That would be pretty interesting. You do find out that he is the son of a supervillain. We find that out later in the video. Also, when Hank is introducing the tourists who are renting out his room, on the chalkboard it says "welcome" in German. I had to look up what that meant. It says like "welcomen." I kind of figured that's what it meant, but that's what it says in German because the people who are renting the room are in fact German, so that was pretty cool. Some of the cooler things that I picked up on in this episode is when 21 and the Monarch are flying, and they're to their first new hench, and they're looking over the thing, and 21 tells him that his eyebrows make him look like Peter de Vries. And I was like, what the hell is Peter de Vries? I was unfamiliar with that, but after looking it up, it's fucking hilarious because Peter de Vries is actually a fictional character from the Dune universe, which is a novel and movie. I think it's a series as well in the like 60s and 70s, and it goes like a remake in the 90s as well. But anyway, it's a super incredibly funny joke. You could have very easily missed it, but I love when they put these little things like this in. And if you get them, they're hilarious. If you don't, you have to kind of look them up, and it kind of adds another layer to the show. I really love that kind of stuff. Hilarious here. I mean, he makes a joke about his eyebrows being bushy because he doesn't have the product. And this is like the bushiest eyebrowed character you could possibly think of. And it's like a nerd science culture reference, pop culture reference, all bundled into one. Very well done. Very good writing. And he also mentions another character later from the same series. 21 also mentions Paul Atreides, who is another character from Dune. And he kind of just, again, he says that he's almost handsome in a Paul Atreides way. And Paul Atreides is like a character from Dune who's supposed to be very handsome. Again, very good writing, stuff that you may not have gotten the reference to if you're not a Dune fan. I had never heard of it myself. But again, something that I thought was absolutely fucking hilarious. And finally here, closing us off here, a couple more just to go here. Now, when Hank is also giving the tourists the Wi-Fi password, the Wi-Fi password is actually like Kate Jackson Meow. And then later on, we see Rusty in a hallucination, coming out of a hallucination in a coma state. He actually mentions, he's like, "I love you." He thinks he's talking to Hank. He's actually thinking he's seeing Kate Jackson. After looking that up, Kate Jackson is actually one of the original actresses from the original Charlie's Angels series back in the day. So apparently Rusty's a big fan of Charlie's Angels and was a big fan of those hot actresses as a child, maybe growing up. But I thought that was really, really funny. I had no idea who Kate Jackson was, so I looked it up. So maybe you guys didn't know that as well. But anyway, guys, that's all the Easter eggs that I caught in episode 4. I know there's more. I know that you guys probably caught more than I did. I watched the episode like 5 or 6 times in a row yesterday. I was going frame by frame, looking for things and posters in the background and maybe little things like that. But like I said, a lot of these references go over my head. A lot of these things I don't really pick up on, and maybe you guys did. So if you guys, by all means, caught any of these Easter eggs that I missed, leave it down in the comment section down below. Let's get a community going here, start sharing these around, trying to figure out all the stuff that the writers are putting in this amazing series, and fully appreciate it. But anyway, guys, like I said, that's all I have. Make sure you guys are liking the video, commenting, and subscribing to be entered in the contest to give away the art book. Follow me over on Twitter and Facebook, all that stuff like that, linked in the description for extra entries, and to be updated on my next videos. We'll be covering the entirety of the Season 7 of Venture Bros weekly like this, breaking it down and the Easter eggs and stuff like that. So if you guys are into that, make sure you guys are sticking around. Check out last week's episode if you missed that. I actually did it, it's actually episodes 1 through 3 in one video. So if you guys want to check that out, link in the description as well. But until next time, guys, remember that it's always K-Mac time somewhere. Until then, take it easy and peace out. Go Team Venture.
These guys are like -3s. I don't know what they were. That was an embarrassment. But you're so sweet for asking, my hero.
Oh, come on. Yeah, it was nothing. I didn't. Oh no.